Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Gigawatts. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly movie news show where we talk about movies that are in development, casting news, updates. We have a horror section, a comic movie section. We start off with box office usually, make some predictions of what's happening next week, see if we're right, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we'll be doing in just a minute. But here we are. Also at the end of the show, we'll talk about any movies we've watched this week that were not for review purposes. So obviously anything we did a review on in the channel or is coming up in the channel, there's no point in us sitting talking about that. But if you watched anything casually, we'll chat about that. Not that I did, because I had a lot of reviews this week, whereas Connor's watched like 25 movies.
He's just making excuses.
No, I've been pretty... No, I've watched like 5 movies for review, and then, yeah, I've been doing other things. I have chose to do other things with my spare time.
Yeah, but you've been doing that for the last 4 months. It's July. You're supposed to be watching movies.
I've not been doing that for the last 4 months. I have been playing a lot of games the last month.
Yeah, you're reading a lot of comics the month before that.
Aye, before that I was, but I'm not doing that now. My comic reading's the bare minimum right now.
Yeah. Excuses. Say.
So yeah, you know, I did quite well last week. This week was a bit rougher, but you've got a lot of movies to talk about, so I'll suffer through that when we get to the end of the show. But I will say, you know, TV news this week was particularly special. It had one of the best news items we've had, like, ever.
In your opinion?
No, just a fact, ever. And this movie news is, you know, it's always going to pale in comparison. But there is one particularly juicy item that is quite nice. It's not as exciting as the TV news this week, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We'll talk about that when we get there. So we'll start with box office, as we do. And we did make predictions over the last couple of episodes. We actually have 2 weekends of box office to talk about, because last week we had to record early, so we recorded before the weekend estimates went up. So we have 2 weekends of box office. We have estimates for the first weekend of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Right?
Okay.
So we made predictions for that 2 weeks ago for last weekend. So we'll check if we're right, and then we'll check. We made predictions for Skyscraper for the last weekend there. So July 6th to 8th weekend, which is what we're talking about now. This is Ant-Man and the Wasp first weekend. It opened to 75.8 million. Do you remember your guess?
No.
Your guess was 75 million.
Okay, that was all right.
I guessed 85. I shot a little higher. I think it was an unreasonable guess, but clearly...
No, definitely not. But
yeah,
I'll take that one. That's as close as it's going to get.
Yeah. It is up. I think the first one was about 50.
Yeah, we looked. I think it was about 55 or something like
that. So it went up, so that's not too bad. We'll check worldwide when we're looking at this past weekend, so it's more up to date. But number 2 was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with 28.6 million. That was its 3rd weekend, so that's doing very well. Incredibles 2 was number 3 with 28 million as well, so that was very close for the second 2 spots. Number 4, the first Purge, and its first weekend at 17.3 million, which I think is fine for that. I mean, it tells me the budget at the side they're 13 million. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, they're all right on that.
Sicario de Soldado was number 5, number 6 was Uncle Drew, number 7 was Ocean's 8, number 8 was Tag, number 9 was Won't You Be My Neighbour, and number 10 was Deadpool 2. That was 1.6 million at the bottom of the top 10. I went through them quickly because I don't want to spend too much time in this first top 10, because we got another top 10. We got last weekend's top 10. This is July 13th to the 15th, and we'll see here. So our guesses for Skyscraper. You guessed 45.
Which may have been ambitious.
I guessed 40. So...
we weren't that far apart from each other.
Yeah, we were in a similar way of thinking. We were hoping that the power of The Rock would you know, electrify the audiences.
It clearly didn't with the way you're talking.
And get them into... I mean, it's not terrible. It made 25 million. Actually, no, I'm looking at the budget. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah, they're really banking on the international for that one, right?
The budget for that was 125 million, so...
Just 100 more to go.
Just 100 more. But that wasn't even number 1, of course. Number 1, it was actually a new entry that we never guessed. This was never even on our radar that this was coming out.
No, I got nothing.
Thinking? I'm looking at Connor's face as he's thinking, trying to figure out what this is.
I'm really trying, but I got nothing.
No, the number 1 movie last weekend was Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. And you just felt your soul die a little bit inside. That was 44.1 million.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. I'm good.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know there was a second one.
Fair enough. I wasn't really aware of them till
If
like
if
6
that never
months
had
ago.
a 3 in the title, I would have thought that was the second one.
Good job out of 3 then, isn't it?
That's a good job. But so many movies don't these days that
No, that's true.
not even unreasonable to think. Number 2 was Ant-Man and the Wasp with 28.8 million. Let's see what that's doing worldwide. So we're at the time of recording worldwide, we have only 283 million. So that's not super hot for a Marvel movie, but it does have a lot of market still to open in. So we'll see how that develops as time goes on. Skyscraper was number 3, as we said, with 25.4 million. Worldwide, that is a eek. Does that have a lot of places still to open in, I wonder?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me go check, see if it's opened in like China or anything like that.
Because the worldwide figure right now is at 65.8 million.
That ain't great.
That is not
That really
particularly
ain't
good.
great.
No.
Okay, I'm scanning. A lot of places opened on the 11th, 12th, 13th. China doesn't get it till the 20th. So
Even without China, though, it should be doing better than
it
that.
should be better. Basically, everywhere except Italy, China, and Japan have got it at this point.
So yeah, that's disastrous. I feel bad. It looks like the sort of schlocky action movie that I can get behind, even though it doesn't look, it looks
It does,
dumb, but
yeah, but here's the thing. It looks way bigger budget than it needs to be.
yeah, you could have totally made that movie. It'd almost be more charming if it had a third of the budget.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why it's
Because I
gonna
saw,
bomb. Because
who was it? Was it Nerdist who did the trailer? But it was like a 90s VHS trailer for it.
oh,
And
I
it
never saw it.
and it instantly made it look like 10 times, and I think it looks kind of fun, but it looks 10 times more appealing with the VHS and the cheesy voiceover,
Yeah, fair enough.
you know.
I'll be honest. This movie with its budget, I didn't realize its budget was so high.
Yeah, it's a
Really,
big budget. Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of AAA video games in the sense that they just have
Yeah.
to pump money into it. They have to go for it, and it has to be the biggest thing to be a success. It's
Which
like,
is silly. Which is silly. It doesn't
yeah,
need to be. Um,
and that's this movie. It's like it didn't need to be that.
yeah. But no, you know how, because in the movie, he's got a fake leg. He's got a
Yes.
prosthetic leg. Thank you. And basically, like in the narration for the 90s version of the trailer, he's like, he's gonna get a leg up on the situation, and it's full of puns. It's great.
Of course.
It's great. It's fantastic. So that's Skyscraper. Number 4 was Incredibles 2 with 16.2 million. Number 5 is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with 15.5. That's its fourth weekend. Actually, what's that doing worldwide so far? Lots. 1,134,000,000 is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Very good.
So
Out of interest, how's Incredibles doing worldwide?
worldwide, Incredibles, let's have a look. 856 million. So that's doing.
That ain't shabby.
That's quite happy with itself, I think. Right now.
Deservedly so.
So then we have The First Purge at number 6 with 9.1 million. Number 7 is I'm Sorry to Bother You. Or sorry, just Sorry to Bother You. There's no I'm. With 4.2 million. And that is looks really good. It's getting a lot of good buzz. There's a lot of word of mouth for it, so it's nice to see that.
I'm not
doing
familiar
better.
with it. Did we do a trailer on that
We
one?
did do a trailer on it. Come on now. This
Which
is the one.
We do so many things. I can't remember all the titles.
This is the one where it's the call center and he puts on the white voice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Tessa Thompson's in it. Danny Glover's in it.
Yep.
Yeah, looks really good. So you have that. Number 8 is Sicario: Day of the Soldado, which is the sequel to Sicario, which of all things has a sequel. I'm still surprised. I still don't get it, but
and not a 2 either.
No. But unlike Hotel Transylvania, I'm at least clued in enough to know that this is the second one.
For now.
For now. Number 9 is Uncle Drew with 3.2 million, and then number 10 is Ocean's 8 with 2.9 million. So there you go. That's the top 10 from last weekend. And in terms of making predictions for next week, we have a trio of new releases, and I think for funds we'll do all three and see how we go here. Because they're all not huge, they're all kind of medium to small, and I think that might be interesting.
Okay, lower expectations.
Yes, just lower your expectations, yes.
100 million. I don't even know what they are yet.
You don't even know what they are yet, yeah.
All three of them, 100.
Alright, actually, you know what? I'll do something smart here. Let's,
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. Right, okay. So, the first film we're going to guess is The Equalizer 2.
12.
12, okay. I'm going to go higher than that. I'm going to say 19. I'm close to 20, but not quite there.
Okay.
Right. Second movie we're going to guess is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
I guess about 23.
You think that's higher? Okay, that's
I
bold.
think that drags in a significant, slightly older audience.
All right, all right. Unfortunately, you may be right.
Yeah, it pains me, but girlfriend's going to see that one on her own. I'll tell you that.
Quite right. And if she meets like her future husband there, I mean, whatever. It was worth it.
Yeah, I ain't going to see it.
19. Mm, you know what? I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna say, no, I don't. See, I don't think it's gonna be that high. I don't think it had, because the first one did very well from what I recall, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be one. I think we're going to get a Sin City 2 thing here, where just no one gives a shit, really.
That's fair. I'm just saying, anecdotally, I'm seeing a reasonable amount of marketing. I know people such as my mother, who, is very much the target audience, big fan of the original, is very excited, wants to be there day one.
All right, fine, 27.
I may have just talked you into beating me somehow.
You might have done. And then the third film we're going to guess here is Unfriended Dark Web. Got the horror movie here. This one's interesting. I'm going to go. I'll guess first. I'm going to go with 22 for this one.
Oh, so, that's bold.
So yeah, I know. I'm going slightly big. I think it might hit an audience that the other two aren't hitting. I think what's neat about these three films is they're all hitting a completely different audience, and I think
could make for quite an even spread potentially.
I may be completely off though.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't feel like that many people care about this one. I mean, people weren't that into the first one, and then it was a pleasant enough surprise for a lot of people, although some people still hated it. This one, I feel like people are maybe just not as into. So I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 14.
14. Interesting. So I've got Mamma Mia at number 1, Unfriended at number 2, and then Equalizer at number 3, assuming that Hotel Transylvania and Ant-Man don't.
Yeah. I have the same for those three in order.
So you do. So we're actually agreeing on the order.
We are.
I'm just giving Hollywood some credit and hoping for a more generously profitable weekend.
Yeah, I'm not feeling these ones.
All right, but I'll be curious. I think that was different enough that I'm curious to see how we end up with that. But we'll move on. We'll move on to the actual news. We'll start with the comic book movies, as we typically do. And first up, just some quick confirmations here. Todd Phillips' Joker Origins film starring Joaquin Phoenix has officially been greenlit by Warner Brothers, and they're going to start shooting it in September.
Cool.
Is it?
No, it's bloody not.
I mean, it's better than a Jared Leto Joker movie, so...
I mean... Yeah, but so's being stabbed in the eye.
True. So they're both on the right side of that line. So that's a start.
Yeah.
It also mentions here the plan is for the film to be released under a new DC banner, which makes sense given that this is supposed to be like out of continuity with the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there's going to be like a DC black label almost, because comic books have that right now, where they're starting this black label thing where it's out of continuity stories. I don't think it'll be called that, but I'm just saying it'll be the equivalent of that for the movies.
Honestly, I'm surprised Shazam isn't going under that, just to get away from any confusion.
Maybe because they actually hope that they do want to bring Shazam in it later.
Well, maybe. Everything they've been told so far is, nah, it's different. Is that still through New Line as well?
It's still technically through New Line, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not that it means that much, but it's just the way they're treating it.
Yeah, I feel like Shazam, they want the possibility to be left open, so that's why they're not doing anything like that.
No, that's fair.
So that's the thing. I'm not a fan of a Joker origin movie, definitely. A Joker solo movie, I'm not even a fan of, really. Unless you play it like a horror movie and he's still the villain, there's just no Batman to combat him. In that case, I could go for it. But
I think a Joker solo movie, I'm open to. I wouldn't be excited about, but I'm open to it. Origin movie? Nah, piss off.
I guess what I'm saying is, if you've seen Split, I would take a movie for the Joker in the vein that that's a movie for McAvoy's character in that.
Yeah, What I do if I'm doing a Joker movie and it just adapts it like Joker, the Azzarello story, where it's from the viewpoint of one of the henchmen,
Yes.
and but Joker's still a very large part of the story. That's probably what I'd do if I had to make a solo movie.
But you probably wouldn't pick that though. You'd probably just never pick to make a solo movie. This is just.
Oh yeah, no. But if they said no,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing, you have to do it.
Yes.
Which clearly someone is saying that.
Well, they're still making a Jared Leto one apparently, so they want them. They desperately want these Joker
They
movies
do, yeah.
to start pumping out. All right, next up, Black Widow update. We actually have a director, not cast, but hired. A director's been hired. Kate Shortland I love how her name's Shortland when you always talk about the shortlist. I almost misread that there. But there was a big shortlist of about 70 people, and they've closed it down. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson's coming back for it, and that's it. Shortland comes from Australia, and she's known for helming Lore and more recently Berlin Syndrome. Not seen those, but it's honestly, I mean, I don't really know the director here. I think the biggest news here is just that, oh wait, this is actually happening. We're actually doing a Black Widow movie finally.
Yeah, it's only taken them. I mean, how many movies will it be by that point?
There was only 2 before her first film in the MCU. She was in Iron Man 2.
And we're on about what, 20 odd now?
I think, I think Infinity War was 19. I want to say.
So Ant-Man and Wasp was 20.
Yeah, Infinity War Part 2 is either 21 or 22. So yeah, something in that range.
Yeah.
But who's to say how many it'll be? Well, that said, no. Well, it's taking that long for Black. Because my big thing was always how long it's taken them to get a female, centric solo movie, and Captain Marvel is like number 20, or 19, or 21, something in that range.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was 20.
20,
so
alright.
Captain Marvel's 21.
21. We had 20 movies before we got a female solo movie.
Yes, we did.
It's very ridiculous. I'll leave it at that, and we'll move on. So Black Widow's happening. That is fairly good news. When it comes to Marvel movies, I'm not really excited now until they give me a reason to be excited. But like, it's good from that perspective, is that they're finally doing it.
Yeah, of course.
So next up, in a mid 6 against 7 figure rights deal, Studio 8 has made a deal to build a movie around the comic book property called Prophet. This is an Image Comics character. It was originally created by Rob Liefeld, of all people.
Of course it was.
But I actually have only heard of this because it was rebooted like 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, by Image. And bizarrely, they didn't start at issue 1. They started at whatever the numbering left off on. But it was this completely new version. Rob Liefeld, as far as I know, had nothing to do with it. And it got a lot of critical acclaim. Like, people like it a lot. So if you buy, like, this run, it's Prophet Volume 1 is just the start of that, issue 23 or whatever it is. But, like, it had a lot of good acclaim as a sci-fi book. So I don't know if they're going to aim more for the more prestigious version that people like from recent years, or if they're going back to the ridiculous Rob Liefeld.
The schlock.
Probably the schlock, yeah, probably. The aim is to build a franchise around John Prophet, a DNA-enhanced super soldier placed into a cryogenic freeze for a future mission only to awaken prematurely in the present. Searching for a mission that does not exist, the ruthless berserker must find his humanity. So, if they go the schlock route, it could be fun, but I see a lot of potential there not to go the schlock route. Yeah. And I assume that's what the New York comic was.
I assume so. Yeah. I mean, there's potential. It's not necessarily for me, absolutely. Yeah, but I can see it being maybe fun.
I think there's potential there. This could be good. Then next, this was a last-minute addition. This only happened. The final part of it that made it newsworthy only happened a few hours ago. Yeah, Connor brought this up. So Duncan Jones, who, we love Moon. We really like Source Code. We never saw Warcraft. Or did you see Warcraft? Maybe
no, not yet. No. I'm still at the point where I might throw it on in the background while I fall asleep to get some points this month. Look, I want points and I want to sleep.
And then we were notoriously disappointed with Mute, which we got earlier this year from Netflix, and that was a depressing review. If you go and track that down, either on YouTube or on the Mailed Fuzz Movies audio feed, we are depressed in that review because we love his first couple films. Yeah. So we didn't even want to see Warcraft. Mute ended up being terrible, but he's got a new film in the works. He is going to be working on a comic book movie. It's 2000 AD's Rogue Trooper. 2000 AD, of course, is the same place that Judge Dredd comes from, just for reference sake. The teasing began on Thursday this week, and he's been sort of teasing things on Twitter each day, and now eventually he's not outright said it, but the clues are there enough to the point where people who know the character are like, no, it's this character.
It's like, yeah, it's pretty much at the point where, well, it's only one thing it can be.
Yeah. So I got from Wiki just a description of what this. I'd never heard of this, just for the record. I'd never heard of Rogue Trooper. Did you know who this was?
I have, but I've flicked through the odd issue of 2000 AD.
Oh, there you go. So Rogue Trooper is a science fiction strip in the British comic 2000 AD, created by Jerry Finlay Day and Dave Gibbons in 1981. Dave Gibbons, you should know that name. He was the artist on Watchmen, for the record. It follows the adventures of Rogue. Sorry, I said Rogue as if it was describing someone, but it's not, it's his name. It follows the adventures of Rogue, a genetic infantryman, a genetically created blue-skinned manufactured super soldier, and his 3 comrades. Their search for the traitor general. His comrades are in the form of biochips, onto which the GI's entire personality is downloaded at the time of death for later retrieval. And they are named Gunner, and that one's mounted on his rifle, Bagman, which is on his backpack, and Helm, which is on his helmet. So he's got like 3 chips, which from the sounds of it are like AI
/ X people
versions of himself, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. He is genetically engineered to be immune to almost all known toxins, can submerge in a strong acid unaffected, and is able to withstand a vacuum in his bare skin. So he's pretty tough. What's funny is this sounds way more Rob Liefeld schlocky to me than Prophet
It does, yeah.
Here's the thing. I was teasing, of course, that there was news this week on the movie show that I was fairly excited for. This was not it. You thought it might be because it was Duncan Jones. After Mute, he is on
you can't muster it.
I can't muster the excitement. I'm not dreading it. I'm not saying I think this will be bad, but I'm not I can't anticipate his next thing like I did before. I just can't.
Same. I feel like in concept, he shouldn't be able to screw this up as he did Mute, right?
Yeah, it's not as personal, and it's not as big as Warcraft was that got bogged down in all of its stuff, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I'd hope I can see this being more along the lines, the level of source code.
That'd be a good level to hit. I'd take it.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, that's Rogue Trooper. So that wraps up the comic book movie stuff and takes on to the general stuff. So here's probably the biggest news item of the week, I think. And this is, I'm surprised you didn't think of this when I said there was something that was really playing to my tastes.
I don't know if I've seen it or not, for a start.
I think you've seen this. I'd be surprised if you hadn't caught this at some point. So, we're getting a sequel to Robocop.
Okay.
Took you a second. So, when I say we're getting not the remake, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, we got a remake in 2014 and we're getting a sequel to that? No. This is, now other franchises, I'm so used to this with horror movies, but now other like genres are starting to dip into this, where we get the remake and then they go, you know what, that was shit, let's just do a sequel to the original now. So now we're going back and forth in continuity between which timeline is the one we're following. So we're getting a film called Robocop Returns, and it is a direct sequel to the original Robocop. It ignores all the other sequels and remakes, so even 2 and 3 are ignored. Obviously the TV movies, the TV show, all that stuff. Not that was ever in movie continuity anyway, but all of it's gone. All of it's gone. Just the original film, and Neil Blomkamp is going to direct it. Now, I was very excited for a time because there was all that talk of him doing an Alien sequel that ignored the rest of the movies.
And then Ridley Scott just demanded the franchise back.
Yes, and which didn't seem like a bad idea at the time because he's Ridley Scott until we got the movies that he made, and now it's like disastrous. But as much as I would still prefer he was doing an Alien sequel, I don't necessarily think Robocop needs a sequel. I will take a Blomkamp directed Robocop happily.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair enough.
That dude loves his 80s tech and his mech suits, right?
Maybe a little too much.
No, there's never too much. Like, don't get me wrong, if there was like 5 Neil Blomkamps running around, I'd agree with you. But if there's just one director where that's his thing, and he keeps doing it, and I like it, I'm going to keep going for it.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm going to keep going for it. So Neil Blomkamp's going to direct it. It's called Robocop Returns. The studio hopes to revive a franchise that began with Paul Verhoeven's original film. It's a satirical sci-fi action thriller that was released in 1987. Original writers Ed Neumeyer and Michael Miner. Michael Miner, what a name! That's a superhero alias in the making. That they're producing and executive producing respectively. Justin Rhodes, who co-wrote the new Terminator film that's currently being shot by Tim Miller. So we don't know if that's good yet.
Is that doing the same thing where it's just ignoring 3 onwards? I feel like in my mind it is, or maybe I'm just going, that's what they should be doing.
It probably is, but the weird thing about Terminator though is it's kind of done that multiple times already, so it doesn't feel as notable.
Yeah.
Because Genesis was kind of ignoring Salvation. Salvation, it didn't really matter if 3 existed. Like,
that is true, yeah.
So
I never saw Genesis. I didn't realize that did that.
Yeah, like they've essentially all been kind of just ignoring each other. Or at the very least, it didn't matter because whatever.
Yeah.
At least from details, I can't remember. But yeah, so they're ignoring the rest of the films, and of course, this is something that horror movies do a lot. Halloween's now doing it. Like, well, Halloween had 2 strands of continuity to begin with. They had 1, 2. Right, those were kind of linked. 3 was a separate thing altogether. That was just a standalone film.
Disregard, yeah.
Yeah, and then you had 4, which continued the continuity from 2, and brought in this niche character and set up this. I really like 4. 4's a good movie, and then that went into 5, which was pretty bad, and then 6, which was freaking disastrous. And Paul Rudd's in that. Ant-Man's in that. Young Paul Rudd, who's barely aged a day, and terrible. So then they came back and did H2O, which was meant to be a direct sequel to 2. So now you can go back and go 1, 2, H2O, which is decent, not amazing, but decent, and then that leads to Resurrection, which is absolute garbage. So you had 2, you could do 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, H2O, Resurrection. And now you have a third option. You have the third option, well, technically fourth if you include Rob Zombie's remakes.
But let's not.
But let's not. But the third option from the original film is 1, and then straight to 2018.
Yes.
Fascinating to me. Fascinating. It's a choose your own path adventure. It's like, oh, where can we go next?
Jump to page 12.
It's fun stuff. And Texas Chainsaw is really bad for it. Texas Chainsaw did a remake, did a prequel to the remake, and then said, you know what, no, we want a sequel to the original. We did that, set almost in present day, although it's kind of sketchy based on the age of the characters. It's meant to be like 40 years since the first film, but the main character who was meant to be a baby in that movie is now like 25. So, you know, but hey, I mean, it was almost like they were going to cast a 40-year-old and then said, or we could have Alexander Daddario and just not explain it. And they just kind of went with that, and I mean, whatever.
I take it.
It's fine.
That's a victory for the viewers, right?
In a movie that schlocky, sure, yeah, it's fine. And then we had Leatherface, which they said, you know what, no, now we want to do a prequel to the original. So Texas Chainsaw's had sequels, and then, by the way, sequels that ended in the 4th movie, which implied that a secret Illuminati was commanding the family to do all the crazy stuff they were doing. The ending of Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation is batshit insane. It is absolutely wacky as shit. There's Illuminati, there may be aliens involved, it's a whole thing.
Oh, spoilers, I guess.
No one, come on, it's not in continuity. It's fine, doesn't matter. And then we have the remake, the prequel to the remake, the sequel to the original, and then we've got the prequel to the original. Who knows what's coming next for Leatherface? Who knows? But point I'm making.
You know one thing, there will be a next.
Yes, there will be a next. So the point I'm making though is that horror movies do this all the time, and now sci-fi and other franchises, basically anything would have made a remake and then went, shit, that was terrible, everyone hated it, the only thing we can possibly do to make people care again is to go back to the actual original version. Now, of course you can debate, do we need sequels to any of these things? In most cases, no, we don't, and that'd be fine. But if they're going to do one, I'd rather have proper Robocop than stupid
That's true.
2014
Do you know what I like
Robocop.
about just skipping all the others? It means that when it's coming out, let's say we're a bit pressed for time, and we're doing our reviews for Influx, as we do with these franchises, we can justifiably just do the first one.
We can. I wouldn't want to, though. I actually really like 2, and I think 3 is an interesting film to talk about.
I said if we were pressed for time.
Oh, I'm just saying, though, because the third one was originally written by Frank Miller, so there's things there to look at, there's things to talk about.
There's Millerisms.
Yeah, and then the remake, I don't really want to watch that one again, but I think if we've done the first three at that
If
point,
you've done three, you kind of have to.
yeah, do the set. That said, though, this is not even shooting yet. We've got time to plan this so we can do one a month, right? We could do one every 6 months, probably. This if we started now and still make it in time.
We probably could.
So, so the point is, it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that the co-writer Justin Rhodes of that Terminator film. So we don't know if that's any good yet, but he is rewriting the script, which was originally written by the original writers of the first film, and they wrote this a while ago, like back when they thought they were going to get to do a sequel. I don't know how long ago this was. I don't know if this was back in the 80s still, or if it was something they did maybe later, like after 2 and 3, where they said, oh, let's do a sequel just to the original. But at one point, they wrote a script for a second Robocop movie that followed on. And it's that script, that original idea that's been rewritten by Justin Rhodes for this Neil Blomkamp movie. So, I mean, it sounds kind of promising. And I'm all for a good Robocop movie if they give me one. There's not really obviously much plot at this point. It just says, anarchy reigns and the fate of Detroit hangs in the balance as Robocop makes his triumphant return to fight crime and corruption. So it sounds like he's been gone for a while. I mean, if they're going with the same time jump, I mean, I don't know if they'd get Peter Weller back. That'd be kind of cool if they did. But
Would, yeah.
But if they were going for that and they were going to do the time jump, then cool.
I like how there's another link between him and Frank Miller, because he voiced Batman in the Dark Knight Returns animated movies, didn't he?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Peter Weller. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch. Also, a little bit of trivia for you. The first ever trailer for the original Robocop used music from the Terminator.
I did it.
Yeah, because they're both Orion movies, so I think they stole the main theme for the trailer.
Why not? You got it in your library.
Yeah, I would have avoided it though, just because I feel like it draws comparisons you don't want.
It does a bit, yeah. But I think that's what they were probably going for is, hey, you people that like Terminator,
yeah,
you'll like this.
Which is annoying because they're completely different movies. They're not even remotely. Have you ever seen Robocop?
No, I've seen like chunks of it, but never the whole thing.
You'll enjoy Robocop when we get to it.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Really everything I've ever seen and heard, I'm like, yeah, I'll like this.
And so, but hey, so yeah, Robocop returns. I never expected a new Robocop, especially one that was like, no, we're going back to the roots. We're going to do one that plays tribute to the original film.
I know there'd been rumblings over the past few years for another Robocop movie.
Yeah, but no different than like, oh, there's a Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming, or there's
right. But I was like, yeah, okay, there probably is a Robocop movie coming at some point. They're probably going to try again. I wouldn't have put money on it being a sequel to the first one though.
Yeah, that's a pleasant surprise because I would have expected just another straight up reboot.
That's what I'd have thought.
But cool, that's cool, and it's one of these things where I'm sure it'll still work if you've not seen the original for new people. It's also worth mentioning Blomkamp said that this will be R-rated. There's no, which it should be.
As it should be, yeah.
Yeah, if you've seen the original, you know how bloody violent that movie was.
It's why it amazes me it got a kids' TV show.
And toys and shit. I know it's insane. That was the thing in the 80s though. Like Alien and Predator had toys, but kids shouldn't have been seeing these things. So
yeah, but that was the thing. They knew they were anyway.
Yeah. Whereas now it's like they have to justify it by having a PG-13 version out just so that they can milk it. But hey, so that is definitely the most surprising news of the week. Also, it's not the first thing that MGM is bringing back actually. More on that later. So we spent a lot of time on that. I want to maybe get through some of these things a little bit quicker. So first up, you'd have moaned if I hadn't put this in. So okay, Billy D. Williams is coming back to Star Wars Episode 9. All right.
I'll be honest, I forgot that was this week because that was so long ago. So I wouldn't have said anything.
Oh well, he's coming back. Lando's going to be on the 9th one. Have a happy time.
That's cool. I think it was somewhat expected anyway. It was about just a matter of time, right?
Matter of time, cool. Yeah. No, so that's cool. I like Billy D. Williams. It's all good. So next up, Scarlett Johansson has pulled out of Robin Tug. We were just talking about this last week, and this did not take long. But she pulled out, which is actually that's weird phrasing given what we're talking. The title's very innuendo, and
it is.
I'm saying she's pulling out. It's not intentional. But anyway, the start of her statement about this said, in light of recent ethical questions raised surrounding my casting of Dante Tex Gill, I have decided to respectfully withdraw my participation in the project. There was actually a much longer thing. The statement was actually much longer than that. That was just the main header. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's huge. But all I will say is that it's good that she made this choice. That's nice. But given her previous statement about it, which was a bit, salty.
Do you know
And
what the worst was? I know you're not reading the whole thing, but there was a part towards the end that was, I'm glad I'm, raising the debate.
oh, yeah.
And yeah, that was part of the. I was like, well, that's bullshit. You knew there was already a debate when you pointed to these other people last week.
The thing that stuck out to me a bit though is that overall it's a good thing, but the PR statement did feel like it went through about 10 PR people to make sure it was airtight. Like, no, like this is like it felt a little bit impersonal, and I think it'd have been probably better if she just like wrote it herself and didn't like tamper with it.
Yeah, probably. Maybe that's what happened the first time though, and we saw how that went.
Oh well, sure, but I mean, if she has the right kind of like, because though I think if she just sat there and said, "Look, hey, like I didn't realize this was going to cause as much concern as it did. I'm seeing a lot of people be worried, and I'm going to make the choice to pull out of this movie, and like hopefully like we can talk about this a bit more openly, and just leave it at that, right? She could have just said that, and it would have been fine." Now, admittedly, coming after that previous statement, it has still maybe not pleased everyone but we can't turn back time and take that away now. So, but hey, so that's good. I do sadly think this means the movie's probably not going to happen at all.
Probably, which is I know some people were arguing in favor of her casting, saying that it was probably one of the main reasons it got me. Because for whatever reason, she's still somehow bankable, even though she has a lot of movies that fail, but she is deemed as bankable still.
She has a lot of movies that fail. She has a lot of movies that don't fail. Because Lucy did absurdly well when that came out, and that wasn't very good.
Somehow, yeah. But Ghost in the Shell didn't do great.
It didn't, no. Same director as well. But I think... Yeah, I think the sad truth here is that this was getting made because of her, and she was also a producer, and she's also, she's pulling out of that as well. So now it's probably just not going to happen, and it's,
And I know that was what some people's argument was, is it better for it to be made with her because she might be the reason it was being made in the first place, or just not tell the story at all?
I mean,
and that's a different debate.
That's a very different debate. I don't think it's a debate that we can have. Given the reactions I was seeing from the trans community, I would say their answer to that would be no, they'd rather it wasn't made at all. I think
maybe.
just based on what I saw, I think it's because they'd rather not have it be like, no, if we can't have it done properly, then wait until we can.
And you say, oh, it's probably won't happen. I think it might, just to cover for the PR disaster.
Sure. Part of me expects it just to kind of like fade into obscurity. If I just stop
maybe has this got a studio attached to it already?
I don't have. Like, I've only got this article that tells me about her pulling out.
If it has a studio attached already, it'll probably happen just to give them, but as cynical as it is, okay, they'll put a trans person in the role and they'll be seen as the good guys for making it anyway, right? But if it doesn't have a studio already attached, I think it probably doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think it fades away, which is not a good thing. But that's just what I see. I'm being cynical here and looking at the Hollywood system. I think it fades away.
So yeah, that's it.
Next up, Downton Abbey. The movie's officially happening. You got the cast coming back: Maggie Smith, Michelle Dockery, Hugh Bonneville, and more. They're shooting it later in the year.
You say officially happening. I didn't even know it was unofficially happening until right now.
Apparently, they've been talking about it for ages, but it's now officially greenlit. Focus Features is going to produce it with Carnival Films.
Tells you how little I give a shit about Downton Abbey, doesn't it?
I have never seen a second of Downton Abbey.
I've seen a bit because the girlfriend watched it and has the the box set. So I've seen bits just as I come in and out of the room.
It's not my thing. If you like it, then great. Have your movie. That's really I mean, this is the sort of thing where if this was just a movie on its own, we might not talk about it. But because I know it's got a following, I'll like, no, okay, right. Downton Abbey's getting a movie.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Enjoy your movie. I will not be seeing it. So I assume you're aware of the recent the Thai soccer team trapped in the cave.
Yes.
Incident, right? Very very harrowing. They were trapped there for quite a while, and it was looking very dangerous that they might not get out in time. It was continuously flooding. I know there was debates of if we leave it too long, they might run out of oxygen. We're getting food to them, and it was a very complex cave system they were stuck in because they kept going deeper and deeper to not be drowned. Basically, it was a whole thing, and one of the divers actually who was trying to rescue them died. So they rescued the whole team, the kids and the coach, but the one of the divers died. So as soon as even before this was done, regardless of the outcome,
you knew there was a movie coming.
Yeah, and obviously I'm happy that the outcome was the most positive possible. You know, outside of the diver, of course. But I knew there was going to be a movie. Regardless of the outcome, there was going to be some movie about this. And there's no competing... I mean, there's not like a competing pitch, necessarily. But we should mention here... So here's the main part of the story. The one that's sort of furthest along here. So this is the whole thing. Crazy Rich Asians director John M. Chu is determined to bring authenticity in respect to the story. He is attached to direct a film based on the news story that has captivated the world in the past week. Ivanhoe Pictures President John Penotti has announced that they are in negotiations with Thailand's Navy and government to develop the film. Multiple studios have shown interest in the project, as I imagine they would have. The news comes a day after PureFlix CEO and managing partner Michael Scott... You sure he doesn't run a paper company?
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Sure that's not Dunder Mifflin?
That's unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, that's really common names, though, so it doesn't surprise me that there's people out there called Michael Scott.
No, it doesn't either.
But he posted a Facebook video saying that he's eyeing to secure the movie rights. So there's multiple people trying to get it. But the statement from Chu, who wants to make it and is attached to this other place... I refuse to let Hollywood whitewash this. The Thai cave rescue story, no way, not on our watch, that won't happen. And he goes on for a little bit more. He wants to do it respectfully and have the right approach. So he wants to be authentic with it, and he's worried that Hollywood, some other studio might, all of a sudden all the divers are Americans or whatever they want to do with it. So just to give you a very brief summary of this. The feature will be based on the 12 young Thai soccer players and their 25-year-old coach who were trapped in a cave complex near the Myanmar border, some for as long as 18 days, as well as the collaborative rescue efforts of the Thai Navy SEALs, government officials, and the many private companies that helped make their miraculous rescue a success. And I can see this being a pretty, taking out the real element of it, just being a pretty impressive, sort of suspenseful movie, because so much of it, and just following the news of it, was the problem solving of how do we get to them and how do we,
Yeah, I think it's more interesting because you remember the Chilean miners, the 33.
Yeah.
And obviously they made a movie about that, and obviously it was a big story at the time, but I think it was a less interesting movie because it went on so much longer and because
it was months and months, right?
It was, and also. It was just a case of, well, we just got to get in. They knew exactly what to do to get to them. It was just taking time.
Yeah, whereas this is a ticking clock element. I mean, it feels weird to make light of it. And I don't mean to, but just in terms of a movie plot script, this has a ticking time bomb element to it, where the time's running out. It's dangerous to get there. We have to take risks. This is an action movie.
It is, yeah.
It's an actual action movie. So we'll see how that ends up. But hey,
we'd into the story with Elon Musk, who went down in my estimation quite a bit. I don't know if you saw. Obviously, he wanted to build a little submarine.
Yeah, he had some plans. I know he had a few, but the submarine was the main one. And then one of the Navy guys from Thailand said that this was mostly a PR stunt. It wouldn't have worked. And in response, Elon Musk accused him of being a paedophile.
Yeah, I think it was one of the British divers that he accused of being a pedo. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm just. This is all tangential memory from the last week.
He was like, nah, it's gonna work. It'll be way better than whatever that pedo diver did. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I know you're a Bond villain and everything, but wow.
Yeah, that's disappointing. I mean, I didn't really have much of an opinion on his personality.
As an inventor.
But... Sorry.
As an inventor, he's obviously...
Oh, sure, yeah, but, I mean...
Yeah.
That's okay, great. He's an asshole now, too. That's fantastic. Alright, next up. So this one's interesting.
It better be nice at that.
So, obviously sometimes we get something like, Robocop sequel, and all that, and it's this big exciting thing that we know about. It's a known property, I already care about it. This is something I didn't know about. I didn't know anything about this. So here's the thing. Anya Taylor-Joy, who you might know from The Witch, also Split, we mentioned earlier. She's in that. She's becoming something of a scream queen almost for the modern day. She has been cast as a title character in Weetzie Bat. That's Weetzie, Weetzie, and then B-A-T. Weetzie Bat.
What the hell is that?
It's a good question. The film adaptation of Francesca's Leia Block's cult favourite 1980s novel that Justin Kelly is directing. Love Simon star Nick Robinson's going to be in it. American Honey standout Sasha Lane's going to be in it. Theodore Pelerin's going to be in it. Keenan Lonsdale from The Flash is going to be in it. So we got Wally West in here. And they're all going to be in it. And before we get to the full description, here's just the bit that... Because up until this point, I was like, okay, I like Anya Taylor-Joy. That's cool. Oh, Keenan Lonsdale, I know him. That's this last bit of this first paragraph. The film is described as a neon-lit fairy tale.
Okay, I'm in.
Neon. All you have to say to me is neon, and my ears will perk up. So, Weetzie, which is the character's name, that's Anya Taylor-Joy's character.
I don't think I'm ever going to get over that stupid name.
Weetzie is an ethereal pixie living in 1980s Los Angeles, where she grew up the child of an alcoholic starlet mother and a junkie screenwriter father. She teams up with a mohawked best friend, Dirk, to find love, leading her to a mysterious trenchcoat-wearing filmmaker named Max, and a platinum-haired surfer named Duck. That's Keenan Lonsdale with platinum hair. Just picture that in your head. But when their bliss is threatened by deaths, breakups, and Max's witchy and bitter ex-girlfriend, Vixen... oh, that's a weird name. Not Vixen. Vixen.
I kind of like that, though. Like it's Vixen, but it's Anne.
Yeah, because the last four letters, A-double-N-E, is Vixen. Yeah. Weetzie must take off her pink Harlequin sunglasses in order to confront life's darkness and find happiness in a city known for as much for the glamour of fame and fortune as the darkness of cults and crime.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. That sounds like batshit insane, 80s neon insanity, and as long as it doesn't go too fairy tale, like if it keeps like the tone that I think it's going to have, I'll be into this.
Oh, I'm okay with full fairy tale. Oh no, the proper dark ones.
Oh sure, okay, dark fairy. I'll give you dark fairy tale.
Fairy tales, the non-Disneyfied versions, basically.
Oh. All right, next up, Chadwick Boseman is reteaming with Joe and Anthony Russo to produce and star in the action thriller 17 Bridges for STX Films. Brian Kirk has signed to direct it. He's worked on Game of Thrones and Luther, so he's a sort of TV director who's stepping up for a movie. It's got a script by Adam Mervis. It follows a disgraced NYPD detective, played by Boseman, who after being thrust into a citywide manhunt for a cop killer, is given a shot at redemption. Doesn't tell us a whole lot. It's a pretty generic sounding premise.
Yeah, based on that, I wouldn't see it.
But I like Boseman, and the Russos producing is, a good sign. So it's not necessarily a guarantee of quality.
With their production studio, they make an effort to give TV directors a shot.
Yeah.
Because obviously, that's their background. Do you think they actively go, "Hey, no, you deserve a shot in Hollywood"?
Yeah, I mean the best thing they've done still is Community, and Marvel fans can fight me on it, but 6 seasons on a movie, baby.
I'd probably agree with that.
I mean, season 4 sure was a bit.
Yeah, but that's not their fault.
Yeah,
we don't hold them responsible.
Yeah, Dana Harmon got fired and then got brought back. I mean, it's a whole thing. So next up, Gary Oldman and Jessica Alba have been set to star in Goldfinch Studios' Martin Owen directed thriller Killers Anonymous. Killers Anonymous explores a world that exists beneath the day-to-day, the restraint and order. For every life there is a death, and for every person there is a niche that only few scratch. The dark voice that tells people to blow out the flame of another's life. You might walk down a street and brush shoulders with a stranger and exchange a polite smile, completely unaware that that stranger is picturing themselves stood above your bleeding body as you draw your final breath. I love this description. There is a place for...
We've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a place for those people. They have all killed, and they all think about killing. Someone to stop, someone to talk, and just need to listen. So that's the first big paragraph, but then the second paragraph gives us what the plot's like. Because that's just describing, okay, there's some killers around. Okay, it doesn't really tell me what the movie is. But it's nice. It's nice content. It's texture. There's texture for the movie. And then we get this. Meetings are held regularly by an understanding leader who nurtures and guides the group through their shared experiences and temptations. So it's a support group for killers, right? They receive a message telling them where and when, and they're within the trust of the circle they share. But on this particular night, the city has been rocked by a failed assassination of a senator and the brutal and professional demise of his attempted assassin. A chain of events is already in motion as the group congregates for their late-night session, and the very fabric of their group begins to unravel as one layer of betrayal leads to another. So what I'm getting from this is that the movie is mostly at their meeting, but all this shit's just happened, and it's like, you know, it's a talking movie where it reveals things as they're opening up about things.
It is, yeah.
That's what I think it is. And I mean, I don't know if Martin Owen's a good director. I don't know if the script's going to be any good. I like the premise.
Yeah, I like it well enough.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into these types of things. I'm into, you know, it's kind of a 12 Angry Men, but more of a, maybe 12 Angry Men meets Reservoir Dogs with a hint of something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it.
Okay.
So, next up we have Tony Hawk. For you youngins out there, he's a skateboarder. He's a professional skateboarder. Those of us who grew up on the PlayStation will fondly remember playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and then number 3 on the PS2. Some people liked 4. I never got into 4, and then it went downhill after that for everyone.
Yeah,
basically.
I never got as far as 4, but many fond memories of the first 2.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is fantastic. But yeah, so I mean, I never really watched professional skateboarding, but I
Not
knew
once in my life.
I knew about him and other skateboarders from those games. But he is going to executive produce a script and be a technical advisor on a comedy called Back to the Grind, which is coming from Branded Pictures Entertainment. Back to the Grind tells the story of 5 middle-aged men who reunite the skate team from their youth to save the beloved skate park from being taken over by a team of obnoxious youths.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, just not with skating, right?
Yeah, although they had settled into their adult lives, the 5 men eagerly embraced the chance to relive their glory days. I mean, I think there's potential in this. It just depends if the comedy's good.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm certain I've seen this before, which...
Just a different sport, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, for a comedy, I think that's okay, as long as it's funny.
Yeah. And, you know, at the very least with this one, I imagine the skateboarding, I think, can be... I don't want to quite say impressive, because they still use stunt doubles, obviously, but... You know, it's a physically really impressive, like, stunt show, essentially.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, having these older men, like, sort of proving they can still go with the kiddies. And I can see one of them breaking a hip, and that'll be a joke.
Yep, almost certainly.
Yeah. I always liked the idea of skateboarding when I was younger, but I never really took the plunge and got myself one.
Yeah, I mean, never appealed to me.
I don't know, I just like the idea of not having to walk. I think, more than anything else. I think a Segway would have been perfect.
God, you're such a lazy bastard. You would have been one of those dicks like 3 years ago going around on one of those hoverboards, as they were called. They weren't really, they were just segways without the handlebars.
Nah, they were lame. Give me an actual hoverboard from Back to the Future Part 2, though. Oh, then we're talking.
Well, I mean, sure, everyone's going to go around on a hoverboard if that's a thing. Obviously. I use the term lightly when I describe those wheeled things.
Oh, dear.
But, I mean, that's what people called them, for whatever reason.
I'll take an actual hoverboard. Alright, on to the horror section now, then. So, I actually have to make a confession here. I did actually miss a pretty big story last week here. On the horror sections.
Oh.
Yeah. Someone in the comments filled me in and pointed it out. Now, to my credit, it never showed up in any of my usual sources, but it is interesting horror movie news. It's definitely worth talking about, even though it's a week late now.
Go on then.
So, remember how I mentioned MGM's bringing something else back?
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? That was a while ago.
Look at that, full circle. We're all coming back round. So, now this one's interesting. This is different than normal. You remember how earlier on I was even joking about how, Texas Chainsaw has done this, and then I went back and done a prequel, and then a sequel to the original, then a prequel to the original, then a prequel to the sequel, and the remake, and blah, blah, blah.
Is this that convoluted?
This is a new type of convoluted.
Oh, Christ.
So, they want to do a remake, or a reboot, of Child's Play, the Chucky movie, right? They want a new Chucky.
Aren't we getting a TV show of that?
Bear with me. Right, so they want to do a new Chucky movie, And what do we know about there's not a lot known about it, but apparently Collider seems to believe the contemporary reboot is set to involve a group of kids and a technologically advanced doll that enters their world. Very interesting phrasing. I don't even know what
it's gonna have laser eyes.
I mean, I'm not even opposed to that. I mean, not as a Chucky movie, but I'll take
as a movie.
Yeah, I'll take a killer doll with laser eyes, sure.
Instead of being like haunted or anything like that, it's just gonna be it's an AI.
So apparently director Lars Klevberg has been picked up for it. He did Polaroid, which I've not seen, and he's attached to direct the Reboot. It's going to be written by Tyler Burton Smith, who worked on a bunch of video games as well as Kung Fury 2, of all things. So here's where things get tricky. So MGM don't actually own all the rights to Child's Play or Chucky. Universal own the rights for home entertainment, and the last couple of movies have been straight to video, VOD or whatever. And as you said, the original creator of the series, and in terms of the franchise, Don Mancini, who's written every single Child's Play film and Chucky film, who directed the last 2 or 3, is developing a TV show, presumably with Brad Dourif, who does the voice of Chucky, involved, and this is in continuity with the movies. That's still in development.
If I recall from the vague piece of news we had about that, that was a sequel to the last movie, right? Which had all the stuff that went down at the end.
As I say, it's in continuity, and they're all it's everything. The stars will be back. It's it's the original creator still writing the whole thing. It's the original series is still going, but MGM technically have the rights to do a movie, so we're getting a remake movie while the sequel's TV show by the original creators and presumably the original voice cast of Chucky, specifically Brad Dourif, who I assume will not be in the remake. So this is going to be a weird case where potentially, depending on if both of these happen completely and they both come out around a similar time, where both the new timeline and the original timeline are going to concurrently be released.
Yeah, the only thing I can even think of remotely getting into close to that is like Star Trek, where we've still got those new, the Kelvin timeline movies going.
Sure.
But now we've got Discovery and etc. going on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think Star Trek almost gets away with it just because there's always been so much of it. Because there was a point when you had, okay, we've got Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and we're going to have Enterprise soon, but we already had Next Gen. And
well, that's and it's jumped around in time periods so much that it doesn't feel like it's a big deal.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, Evil Dead kind of, in the sense that, not at the same time, but they did the TV show sequel after the Reboot movie. But the Reboot movie didn't have any of the same characters in it. It felt so separate, but I guess it's not a million miles away of this. This is weird, though, because it's like the original creator, who, me and Tim have been watching these movies, he's actually been doing a really good job. We've actually really liked the last couple of movies.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between this and Evil Dead is, Evil Dead, okay, how long between the TV show and the last movie from that crew?
Wait, do you mean from the reboot or from the last Bruce Campbell movie?
Yeah, from the last Bruce Campbell one. That was.
Oh god, that was 93, and then the show was like 2015,
15, 16, give or take. Right. So you look at a reasonable timescale there, and obviously you had the reboot ones in between. But wasn't the last Chucky movie like last year?
Yeah, it was last October. We did it for October-thon.
Right, there you go. So it's not even a year old at this point. We're getting the TV show, and they're going, yeah, go on.
In fact,
have another one.
I think Don Mancini was planning on a movie as well. I think it was a movie and a TV show.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. So we might even get competing movies.
This is madness.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Obviously, this is a really weird legality thing where they kind of have part of the rights, but not all of them. It reminds me of public domain stuff like Sherlock Holmes, where we can have multiple Sherlock Holmes interpretations at the same time.
Yeah, because you had the British Sherlock, and then the American Elementary start within a few months of each other, if I recall.
Not even just that. Also, the Downey Jr. movie was.
Oh yeah, that too as well.
Not
I was
even
just in
far away
terms
from
of
that.
TV, they were at the same time, give or take. And yeah, of course, you had the Downey Jr. ones.
Or even just the idea that we had a Jungle Book movie a couple of years ago, and there's a new one coming next year from another different studio. You can do that when it's public domain, and this isn't public domain, but it's kind of worked out in a similar way where two of them can do it. So
it has, yeah.
So they're doing it. So I mean, I'm not angry at MGM for trying this. I mean,
I can't really blame them. It's if they've got the rights, they have, they have as much justification to do it as anyone
what
else,
I don't
right?
get though is why they would want to right now. Because all they're going to anyone who likes the original like continuity and who's been enjoying these movies and is looking forward to the TV show, all you're going to do is piss them off. So they are banking on nothing but new audience for this.
Yeah, what you want to do, you want to wait for a lull in the franchise and then swoop in, right?
Yeah, you want to wait until they're all done, and then you can swoop in and make your new movie.
I wonder if this is a case of if they don't, Marvel, Fantastic Four style, where
Oh yeah,
if they don't make a movie, they'll lose them.
I don't think so because I'm pretty sure they made the original.
Right. Okay then.
So I don't. I mean, it could be. I don't know how. I mean, it sounds.
It's something that comes to mind as a
Yeah.
possibility, but
So I would question why they'd want to, because they're all because with the other stuff or it's still existing. Not only, I mean, even before you get to them maybe pissing off fans, which I think they might be by doing this. I mean, I'm not pissed off, but I'm
I'll piss
definitely
them off unless it's good.
I'm definitely still excited for the other stuff that from the original, from Mancini. His stuff I'm looking forward to because he's proven to do a good job with it, and the last movie left off in a really interesting place, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see more of this. So by its nature, I'm looking forward to that. This stuff is just like whatever. Like I'll see it for Scream, sure, because we review all crap, but like, I'm not excited for it. Maybe a trailer will change my mind. It's
Yeah,
always
maybe
possible.
that's the thing. It'll piss people off in concept, but if it is good, I'm sure people won't care anymore.
But here's the thing, though. Before you get to whether or not they're pissing people off, I think there's a genuine concern in why they maybe shouldn't do it right now. Is like you're actually like you're the extra one coming in. It's not like the original timeline being around is something that's coming back to confuse your movie. You're the one causing the confusion. And it feels weird to me, no matter how little it might be, it feels weird to me for a studio to decide we're going to do something that's going to make something a bit more confusing for some people.
Because they're not making money off the other ones.
I know, but like the potential for profit is lessened a bit by the fact that it's more confusing.
Yeah, but it's less than compared to having none.
Because
So
what I would do if I was Universal, right, is that if let's say the TV show's coming out around the same time as the movie, I would actually pump up the ad money and make sure the TV show is promoted to like just
as the official one.
yeah,
almost.
just you see the real Chucky with the real voice is on whatever network or service.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It exists.
Yeah, I would actually like triple the marketing budget just so that you can like just basically like shout over the other one.
Yeah.
It'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
look at the
I
real
think
Chucky.
that TV show's not that far out.
We've not heard a whole lot about it since we
No, I felt there was something not too long ago talking it with a bit of an update, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
Of course, the one big worry here, I think, is that the financiers of the TV show might get shaky feet because of what's happening here.
Quite possibly, yeah.
So that's the only concern. And if that happens, I would be pissed off, and people would legitimately have a right to be pissed at this reboot. But
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We got the little, Twitter teaser thing last month.
oh sure, what was that again? Remind me.
It was the do not adjust your set thing. It was just the
Ah.
static stuff and with the face coming up. It wasn't much. It was just like an official announcement, really.
Just sort of saying, hey, it's coming along. We've not faded into obscurity.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so we have a couple of horror comedy stuff. I was debating whether or not to put this in the horror section or the regular section, but they're both
But
zombie.
let me guess, the rest of the horror section's pretty light, so you thought horror.
Well, yeah, they're both zombie movies, so why not? The horror section feels fair enough. So if we're officially getting Zombieland 2. Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin have all signed up to return. What's funny though, this came out in 2009, so by the time we get this, they'll all be 10 years older, which will be especially funny with Abigail Breslin, who's, was a kid in the original, and will now be like 20. And
That'll be fun.
yeah, she was, that was Scream Queens, right? That's Abigail Breslin. Growing up. She's
Was
number
it?
5? Pretty sure that is.
Huh. I don't think I ever noticed. I'm gonna have
Go
to go
Google,
check
I'm
this
pretty
now.
sure that's her.
You might well be right. Let me just
Unless I'm mistaken her with another kid star.
yeah, I mean you could be right. Oh no, you're right. It was her.
Ah, there you go. See.
Oh look, yeah, okay. I just never clocked. Clearly.
See, now when I'm watching Zombieland again, I'll be like, oh, poor little girl's got teeth in her vagina.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss Scream
I
Queens.
miss Scream Queens as well. We've not recorded the trailers yet this week. We're doing that after this, but what do you call her?
Scream Queen herself.
Chanel #1, yes. Emma Roberts. Took me a second. She's in a trailer this week, and as soon as I looked at her, I was like, I miss Scream Queens. I want Scream Queens back. But yeah, so they're all signed up to do the second movie. Original director Ruben Fleischer's coming back. He of course is actually working on the Venom movie right now, so he's doing that next. So he's Sony's guy. He's Sony's #1 guy.
Yeah. Not looking forward to that one. I do like Zombieland quite a lot.
I like it. I do think it's a bit overrated.
Yeah, fair enough.
And there's nothing actually wrong with the film itself. I think it's a fine comedy. It's a fine comedy. I had fun watching it. I've seen it once. I didn't feel the need to watch it again. I'll probably enjoy a rewatch of it though, maybe before the second one comes out. And I like the cast a lot. I think the cast is what makes it, because you got Emma Stone and Breslin and Eisenberg and you know, Eisenberg I think sometimes can be. I mean, Lex Luthor is the obvious one, but I feel like he works in a very specific type of role, and then he is horrible when they try and cast him in something else.
That's fair, but
and he's fine in
this was that exact type of role that he should be playing.
Exactly. But it's more just because people, I think, talk about it as if it's this. I don't know. I just feel like people overrate it. They say it's this. You know.
Fair enough. I've seen it a few times. I have a blast every time I watch it. So.
It's just a taste thing. Like, if you love Zombieland, love Zombieland. I'm not really ragging on anyone for it. I just feel like everyone talks about this as a great film, and when I eventually watched it, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's fine.
I think it's got a good sense of style that a lot of horror comedies don't have.
I mean, I love the Bill Murray stuff.
Yeah, of course.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But hey, so two's happening. I mean, there's a description here, but it says nothing.
It's another one. Cool.
It's another one. They're together. The makeshift family struggling. The zombies all over the place. That's basically it. Sounds
like exactly what I'd want, though.
Zombieland 2. But speaking of Bill Murray, speaking of zombie movies,
there's a hell of a segue.
I know. Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny, and Tilda Swinton, and Steve Buscemi and Selena Gomez have been cast in a zombie comedy from Jim Jarmusch, of all people, called The Dead Don't Die. Jim Jarmusch, of course, has done a number of indie films over the past several decades. I've only seen a couple of his films, actually, but I did really like Broken Flowers, which also had Bill Murray in it, from 2005. He did, the other one I've seen is Mystery Train. That was like from 89, I want to say.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he does a lot of really good dramas and slight quirkiness to them, but not like super quirky. But there's a lot of different stuff. I should see more of his movies. But this is for Focus, who also did Broken Flowers with him. And yeah, so there's no the plot yet, but with that cast and that director, it seemed worth mentioning.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's something to keep on the radar for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Bill Murray's exciting because I feel like he's not in as much these days, so it's just nice whenever he's like, yeah, I'll do a proper movie again.
Yeah.
That's hopefully more than a cameo.
I mean, there's a danger with a cast of that size that it is a glorified cameo.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But, I mean, the fact that they're announcing it this early, though, would lead me to hope that it's not.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's worked with Jarmusch before, so that's maybe why.
Yeah.
You know, he's got his phone number, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can grab him and be that. But hey, that was the last story of the week. So
I knew there was a reason you put the horror comedies in that section.
Shut up. So now I will take my headphones off and let Connor talk for about 20 minutes, and then come back.
I won't be that long.
Because he's watched movies this week, and he's threatening to tell us all about them. So go on.
That was rude. That was very inconsiderate. No, the first one is one you've seen, and one I know you quite like. That was Pitch Black. I thought I should probably finally get around to that. And it was all right. I thought it was a little overrated from what I've heard, but it's solid enough.
I wonder if your perspective of what you've heard is just kind of skewed, because I feel like people like it a lot, but I don't think people actually rate it like absurdly high. It's kind of like people love it as a really good B movie. but not any more
Yeah.
than that.
No, that's fair.
At least that's how because I love, you know me, I love rules. I love that there's like, okay, there's these monsters, but they can't go out in daylight. But you've got this like anti-hero who can see in the dark, and like we have to go through the dark to get to the ship. And it's, you know, it's all set up to the rules. It's all set up to the one big sort of mission they're going to have to do. That's really difficult. And yeah, and anytime you've got an anti-hero who grows a bit of a heart by the end of the movie, I feel like is
No, that's fair enough. I feel like what put me off a bit as well is that just I know it's for the plot. You know, there's all the extra suns, but the overexposed look was just not working for me. And I know it's in the plot. I get that, but I still didn't like looking at it.
fair enough.
Yeah, it was a shame. But no, obviously, last week I talked a lot about some of the dumb actiony stuff that I was watching to go to sleep. So I did the original Clash of the Titans this time.
Oh, the 50s,
80s, 81.
Was it 80s?
Yeah.
Like, okay. I just assumed that was like from the same period as Jason the Argonauts. But
no, I
whatever.
get that. I did as well until I was actually went to watch it. I'm like, huh, this is 81. I mean, sure, but it's pretty solid. It's not amazing. You're wrong. It's like 2 hours long, and to its credit, someone asked me. You know, I posted that I'd watched it in our Facebook group, and someone went, "Oh, I'm going to check it out. How long was it?" And I went, "Oh, I don't know. I think it was about 90 minutes." So, you know, it went in really quickly. So credit there, which I did not realize until I checked after.
That's fair.
So it's always a good sign that I was enjoying it. And it's you know, a bit by the numbers, sure, in terms of that stuff. The monster design stuffs are really great. They're all, you know, these models and then stop motion animated. Looks a little janky by today's standards, don't get me wrong, but the designs are fantastic. So yeah, I had fun with that. Definitely better than the other ones that I watched.
That wouldn't be hard.
No, but I mean, it was pretty fun, so I can't complain.
Better than Last Jedi. Okay, check.
Let's not be hasty now. I'm watching you for that. I'm not letting you trick me out on anything. But no, after that I watched Calvary, which is something that's been on my list for a couple of years, so I recommended it to me, and you know, thought why not.
So I actually didn't know there was an Agent May spin-off from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So what was this?
That's Cavalry. This is Calvary.
It was a good joke. Shut up.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's a solid joke.
No, because too many people make that mistake, genuinely make that mistake, and I'm not letting that slide. I'm not letting anyone think that was, you know, you're correcting me on that.
I'll be honest, I'm so used to the word Calvary that it sounds off when I hear the other version. It does sound, yeah, it sounds wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Calvary, if anyone there was a place, it's where Jesus was apparently crucified, just outside the town. This hill. That's you know, which is why it's relevant to this movie, because it's about a priest.
I like the subtle use of the word apparently at the start of that sentence.
Look, it's all apparent. You want to believe it? Go ahead, but that's fine. But yeah, no. So basically, it's Brendan Gleeson's this you know, this priest, and it opens with he's in the confessional booth, and a guy's on the other side. You don't see him, you just hear a voice, and he basically goes, you know, as a kid I was abused by a priest, so in return, you know, I'm gonna kill you next Sunday. And his logic is, you know, the guy who did it to him as a kid, well, he's already dead, so can't get revenge on him, and it makes more headlines. It's more worthy because this is actually a good priest, so it feels like, you know, he let it happen. He didn't, you know, or you know, he's complicit for not stopping it, essentially. And it's basically this, you know, it goes, you know, every day of the week, and it's this man who's in, you know, the last days of his life, and he knows it, going through wondering who the killer is, bit of a mystery stuff there.
So what you're saying is he's told he's going to die in a week, and the movie follows day by day of what's happening.
Yes.
So it's The Ring.
No.
It's The Ring. You just described the plot of The Ring.
I mean, if you want to boil it down to that, sure.
I'm just
But
saying, it sounds a lot like The Ring. That's all I'm saying. It sounds
there's
like
nothing supernatural.
he's. So what? Maybe he is supernatural. You don't know he's a real person. He's he's going to die in 7 days, and he's trying to figure out who over the course of the week. And we go day by day. That's The Ring.
But here's the key fact: he's not trying to figure out who to stop it. He's not trying to go, oh, don't, he's not trying to escape from it. This is him just, trying to make peace with the last week of his life.
So it's The Ring 2 then. Okay.
God damn it! You're rude. This is a great movie. I love this. This is it's all these there's these fantastic shots of this looming. It's not quite a mountain, but a hill doesn't do it justice in the background.
A hill doesn't do it justice, but it's not a mountain.
Do it justice, but it's so ominous and this fantastic. It just keeps returning to this lingering shot of it in the background of the town.
I can almost hear Britney Spears in the distance saying, "Not yet a mountain." But not a hill anymore. What was the like to that song?
I don't know. It's Britney Spears.
I'm not a girl, but I'm not yet a woman. Something to that effect. I'm trying to do that line with the mountain and the hill.
I got it. But there's some great acting. You got obviously Brendan Gleeson's great. You got his son Donald's in there for a little bit. Dylan Moran's in there. Chris O'Dowd.
This is Irish as shit. What's happening?
It is Irish as shit. Yeah, it's great. I love it, but especially the scenes with his daughter are really good, and the scenes with the other priest, who is awful at geography. It's some great. It's billed as a drama on IMDb, but I would say it is very much a black comedy because there is a lot of dark humor in there. It's very enjoyable, well worth checking out. Yeah.
Okay, that one took 5 minutes.
Yeah, that one did, because I wanted to because that was probably the best one I watched this week.
Now, admittedly, I extended it a little bit with my Ring jokes and my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. joke and my Britney Spears joke. I had a lot of jokes in that
you
one.
Did. Yeah, the good one you take the pops at.
Because you kept talking about it. Me taking the piss out of you is the sign that you're going on too long. So get churning.
It was, all right. Well, what do I watch next? I finally got around to This Is Spinal Tap, because of course I'd seen lots of clips over the years, but never seen the whole thing, so I put it on. Very enjoyable. Well, I'm going to say it's a classic for a reason, isn't it?
I've never seen it. Can't tell it. I can't.
Have you not?
Can't speak to it.
For some reason, I thought you had. I thought I'd heard you mention it, that you'd seen it before.
For whatever reason, I've just never felt in the mood to watch it. I don't know.
There is a young Michael McKean in there.
Oh, interesting.
That took me a while to recognise. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I've recognised him in movies from like circa 90. I don't know what this is. 87.
This is 84.
Oh, 84. So I might recognise him then. I don't know.
And he's got very long hair because obviously the part he's playing. It's good luck.
So did you rate it 11 out of 10?
No, I wish. I mean, it's very good, but I know. But no, what's after that? I watched again in the trying to sleep category, Ironclad. This is medieval Magnificent Seven, and I specifically use Magnificent Seven and not Seven Samurai because it's not good enough. It's not bad. No, but this is the thing. It's not a bad movie. It's. I thought it was going to be a lot worse when I put it on.
I have legitimately never heard of this, and you saying Ironclad just made me think, oh, Slay the Spire. Let's go. Let's go.
No, I can understand that. I mean, it's got a reasonable cast. You got James Purefoy as the lead. You got Kate Mara in there, Paul Giamatti, Charles Dance is in there.
I've literally never heard of this movie, and it's full of people I know.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's solid enough. The action's pretty good for the most part. Ruined a little in certain areas with some shaky cam that just kind of takes away from it. Not all the time though. It's a bit hit or miss.
That's what we could use in the show, actually, is some more shaky cam.
Oh, yeah, we don't get that enough from your cats. That is extreme shaky cam.
Yeah, that was the Enterprises getting hit.
It was. But no, I mean, it's a bit long because it's almost 2 hours. And the reason it's a bit long is because there is this shite forced-in love story that just shouldn't be there. You take that out, the movie's instantly much better. And it's not down to the performances or anything like that, because they're fine. Good at times. because it's a solid cast, so you'd expect good performances for the most part. But just kind of really ruins the pace of the back half of the movie, which is a real shame because I could have had a lot of fun with this otherwise.
Next.
Yeah, I know. I'll brush over the football documentary which I watched.
Yeah, piss off. Next.
Yeah, okay. Last one. I got to see The Incredibles 2.
All right.
And obviously, I'm a huge fan of the first, as people who have seen some of our other videos will know. I have to say this lived up to my expectations. I love this movie. It was fantastic. Did everything I wanted.
Was it better than the first one?
I can't say that yet.
All right, so it could be Brad Bird's second best film.
Oh, that is pushing it. I'll tell you in a few years when I've seen it, 10 times.
His first best film, his best film, of course, is The Iron Giant.
Is The Incredibles.
Just in case anyone was confused by the previous statement, The Iron Giant is a goddamn masterpiece, and
it's very good. No, it is, but Incredibles is better.
No, so was that it? Was that the last one?
That was it. Yeah, I'm done now.
Mercy.
Well, it would have been quicker if you hadn't made all those jokes in Calvary.
Why did they misspell cavalry? I don't get it.
Not taking the bait.
It doesn't even make sense.
Not taking the bait. Let's wrap this up. Come on.
All right. Probably better than Last Jedi, though. I'll give you that. So that has been this week's movie news. So thank you very much for sticking around. Let us know what you thought of all the news items here. Of course, you can support us by going over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. It was at the bottom of the screen a second ago, but the fading cycle has just forsaken me and has went to the Twitter. As soon as I'm talking about Patreon, there it is, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You get some bonuses, including what is now going to be the rotating monthly special Patreon exclusive. Because we have 1.21 Extra, which is like a discussion show for movies, and also Almost Cancelled Extra for TV shows, and we're going to alternate them month to month, basically. And the first ever 121 Extra, which was supposed to go up 2 weeks ago, but we recorded the whole thing and then lost it all. Well, didn't lose it all.
It was just unusable.
To be accurate, none of Connor's side of the audio recorded, and therefore it is useless, and we have to redo the whole thing. Which we are happy. I'm happy to say we're doing that tomorrow. Actually, at the time of recording, we're going to be re-recording that for Patreon. That's only $1. If you spend $1 a month, you get access to those shows. And obviously some early access to other stuff, and then there's some other bonuses higher up the tiers if you want to go and look at them. But $1 is amazing, and it helps us out so much. And if you can't do that, don't worry, comment, subscribe, like, all that stuff, all of it helps. We should also mention what movie reviews have been up from Mailed Fuzz TV this week. So I can tell you right now, from Streams After Midnight, our horror movie show that I do with Tim, we actually had 2 episodes this week. On Wednesday we put up Unsane, which is the Soderbergh movie. It's all shot on like an iPhone, and it's Claire Foy going crazy.
How was it, just in a nutshell? Because obviously Soderbergh, okay, hit or miss. Claire Foy I quite like, but then iPhone.
It's not bad. I think it succumbs to becoming more of a movie in the last act, which I think lets it down. But up until that point, okay. Interesting. And then on Friday, it happened to be Friday the 13th, and we've been working through the franchise, so of course we put out the next Friday the 13th movie that we were on at the time, and that was part 6, Jason Lives. So those are up from streams, and you can expect the next streams to go up on Wednesday. And I won't tell you what it is, because we have the next 5 recorded. I just don't know which one is next. But I can tell you that Truth or Dare is finally releasing on home release next week, so you can expect that in the near future. And why
do you do this to yourself?
I've been threatening Tim with it for a while. I'll be like, Tim, Truth or Dare's coming. Truth or Dare's coming.
Well, Tim's getting married this year. Are you trying to make him kill himself before
that? No, I'm just trying to remind him that, I want him to know.
Appreciate the good things in life.
Yes, appreciate the good things in life, and just know that streams must go on even in married life. So.
Okay.
So I can't have him be too happy. He has to have this internal pain. He's like Batman. The misery has to be there, or he can't be who he is.
Yeah, of course.
So, no. So that was Screams.
That's the route for any comedian, though, right?
Yes, exactly. So what was what in flux this week?
We had a double. We had a two. For
Yes,
this week.
we had two. Yes. On you go.
Can you remember them? Oh, can you not remember them?
Oh, I can. Lost River and AVPR, but I was letting you do it.
No, it's fine. I'll let you ramble away.
I want a break so I can get a drink, and he's right.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly why I was trying to.
Alien versus Predator Requiem went up. It was garbage. We talked about that. We also talked about Lost River, which is Ryan Gosling's directorial debut. For patrons, you got the early access to the next one, which was All Monsters Attack, which is the 10th Godzilla film. So that was an interesting one. So public will get that next week, and of course Patreon will get some early access to some other movies this coming week. At least one, possibly two, because we're still doing makeup episodes, of course, for Time Lost in April and May. So there's still more of them coming over the next month or so when we can fit them in. So you can look forward to that. And outside of that,
one more.
Overload, yes. Mine and Matt's last 121 Overload went up for a small indie science fiction film called Coherence, which is fantastic. And I shall slightly spoil the review and simply say I'll paraphrase something Matt said by the end of that video. It is the best thing I have picked for that show.
Old statement. Here's the question: Did it break Matt? I know he was a little confused at certain points.
Oh no, he was ecstatic. He was into it.
Okay.
He was into it. I picked a winner with that one. So and of course it does star Nicholas Brending, who was in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And here I thought I'd got away with it.
But in an alternate reality, he was on the hit television show Roswell.
Really? Oh, we're going with it.
It's a reference to Coherence.
Okay. I mean, I got the alternate reality reference, but is Roswell specifically a reference?
Yes, he specifically references Roswell in that movie.
Okay.
That's good stuff. But check it out. So that's us. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Keep watching movies. But that is us. So thanks you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. And we will see you next time.